25 years of off-road racing dominance. Proprietary patented race technology. Proudly made in the USA. Unparalleled customer service and support. The choice of champions. King Shocks. The leader in off-road shock technology.
Hey, Greg Adler here, president of Off-Road Warehouse and part-time off-road racer. Here at ORW, we're not just your typical off-road shop. We sell race parts. Come check it out. We sell everything from FK rod ends, Fragola, PCI radios, and we're even selling direct BFGoodrich racing tires. Check out any one of our 10 Off-Road Warehouse locations. Get you dialed for going down to Baja or anywhere else you play.
Sure, everything's made of something, but time and sweat is what puts it together. And it's that relentless application of effort against the clock that created everything around us. The BFGoodrich HD terrain tire is engineered to tackle the extreme situations heavy-duty trucks are met with head-on, because downtime can't exist when there's a job to do. Time isn't something to marvel at. It's something to be seized. It's a tool we put firmly in your hands. BFGoodrich, what are you building for?
We're waiting for our host to figure out his microphone. Let's see. There
Hey, everybody, welcome to Fishgistics. I'm here. It's Cameron.
First time.
It's my very first time hosting anything. I'm super nervous, so bear with me. In the new downloaded app here, I cannot unmute myself on the box anymore. I got to go to the control panel. Sorry. Anyway, Cameron Steele here, your host for Fishgistics today. I'd like to first welcome my co-host and the actual fish man himself, Austin Fish Farner. Hi, buddy. How are you?
Good. Ready to have some fun and talk about the Baja 1000 today.
Absolutely. Fun is the name of the game. And we have quite a hit list of talent coming in from the UTV, Spec Trucks, Class 1, and, of course, the Trophy Turkeys. We'll have the Trophy Trucks a little bit later on, as we will in the middle of the show. We'll have the Specs and Ones. We're going to start it off with the UTV guys, Team Chatterbump. And yeah, first of all, I would like to send our condolences from Fishgistics and from everybody in the off-road community to those lost at the Baja 1000. Very unfortunate accidents took place. I don't have details, but I did want to say that our entire community is thinking of those lost, and also our blessings to their families and all involved. Again, we don't have the exact details, but the number one goal is to always be safe and have fun. And sometimes accidents do happen. And we didn't want to start the show without saying that we were thinking about those. And it's always a very hard transition to go from thinking of those that have been lost and to go to talk about racing. But first of all, Fish, I think that the Baja community has had a lot of stoke lately on this unfortunate situation to have things like this happen. But, you know, we all go down there knowing that there's a degree of danger involved in racing, and everything around racing and race cars can be dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of honestly, like, that's part of the excitement too, right? Like, that's, you know, it's not like everybody can just go do it. That's why a lot of us go down there, is because it is kind of exciting and it is dangerous, and it is, you know, you just got to be smart about it. And unfortunately, like you said, sometimes accidents happen. Usually in the race cars, usually the safest place during a race, and once again, that kind of proved true this time. But yeah, our thoughts are out to everyone lost, and those that were injured that are still making a recovery. Hopefully they can make a quick recovery, and we'll see them back at a race again soon.
For sure. Amen. And prayers to everybody involved. Kicking off Fishgistics, this Ball 1000 show, I did want to say that this is opinion based. There's not a lot of facts that come out here. Well, there could be facts, but you have to interpret what's real and what's not real. The background behind me, I'm not actually sitting at this bluff in Baja. I'm somewhere. I'm not at Baja HQ, but I'm somewhere here in Southern California bringing you the show. The Ball 1000 is a massive race, Fish. Lots going on and a lot of different races. I'm stoked you're able to amass this great hitter crew of people to share their race stories, tales, and lies with us.
Yeah, I'm glad all these guys can make it. Thanks to everyone that's going to be on the show and is on the show right now. It's cool. We have most of the winners of a lot of the big classes, and I just want to apologize to the classes that we don't have on the show today. We can't have everybody on the show. It's impossible, right? The bike guys are pissed as always. Sorry, bike guys. Maybe next time we'll have you on the show. But what's new? So we got these guys right here on the show.
Well, I think it's fair to say that we have the classes that have the most conversation topics and most footage post during the race, and et cetera, et cetera. We have what I would consider the most competitive classes and the classes with the biggest hitters. So if it offends anybody, I'm sorry, but these are the classes everybody wants to hear about. So welcome to the show, Fish. Let's bring them in. Of course, Brock Heger or Heger, depending on which part of the neighborhood you grew up in. But Brock is here, one of the baddest men to ever drive an off-road race car, and we'll talk to him about his last name, how his dad pronounces it, and how he pronounces it in just a few minutes. Brock's here. Michael McFadden is here. Of course, Brock won the overall UTV, the Pro Unlimited. Michael McFadden is here. He's your winner in the NA class, part of the factory Honda racing team with Jeff Proctor. And we also have Brandon Sims, who is still muted, FYI. He is your second overall finisher, second in unlimited UTV, and then also joining us, Josh Rowe, the partner for Mitchell Alsup, finishing fourth overall in a Pro Open UTV. I think that's the way we call the class, unlimited, basically. Welcome, everybody. I guess we'll start with Brock. Brock, you hurt people's feelings out there. It's not nice of you to pick on everybody. Why do you got to do that?
I figured if I did that, that was my way into the fish show.
I think that's fair. Now, let's really quick hit this straight on, okay? Because I've been commentating about you for, it seems like over a decade, obviously, from some of the stuff you did as a young man and moving on up the classes and becoming more and more of a star now, Factory Polaris race team. How do you say your last name properly?
Heger. Unless it seems like everyone that lives by the beach go with Heger, so that must be a guy like you.
Yeah, well, I kind of purposely blend people's names all over the place. I'll tell you how I remember how to say your name. You want to know how?
How?
Okay, so Heger reminds me of farming in that Central Valley where you live. So Heger. Yeah. That's how I remember it. I have some other names that I have to remember in the sport also. So please forgive me if I butcher it, because I hear like 5,000 people saying it the other way. And
I probably say it the other way during half my updates during the race, honestly. I think I go back and forth with saying it both ways myself.
I think everybody should recognize Heger finishing 7th overall. Brock, it looked like you went out on a heater right out of the gate, wanted to crush everybody's feelings. I don't know if you just started that first segment and wanted to make the other guys think they couldn't race with you, or if in the middle of the race you're like, I'm just going to dominate these class 1 guys, or what the plan was. But holy hell, talk about throwing one down.
Yeah, I mean, it was there was no plan really going into it. It was just gonna, obviously I was driving the entire thing, so it's not like I had to do something in a short amount of time. So yeah, it was just, took off the start, and there was a little bit of rain, so I was able to get by some 10-car guys and whatnot pretty early on, and then pretty much just kept doing the same thing from there.
Copy that. I'll tell the story real quick. I was parked at race mile 701 messing around with some electronics, and no one had come by for a long time. And all of a sudden I was on live with Score on their broadcast. And all of a sudden this car went by, and they're all, something just went by. I'm like, yeah, it was a class 1 car. They're all, no, the tracking says it's Heger going by. I'm like, holy crap, it sounded like a class 1 car is going so fast. So yeah, a way to hurt feelings out there. We're gonna shift around a little bit. I will ask you how many times you had to pee being in the car the whole time. Did you stay in there the whole time? Did you ever get out of the car for any reason?
No, never got out. My co-driver got out when we were at the bottleneck. We were right there at Fred's, but yeah, nothing too crazy. I don't know. I probably peed 4 or 5 times. That was kind of it. Didn't really eat much. Had 2 Snickers. My co-driver picked up on some San Mateus machaca burritos at some point. So that was a huge request on his end. He was mowing those down, but yeah, we were it was pretty smooth sailing. Never got a flat tire. Our BFGs were solid all day, so never got out of the car.
Right on. Well done. We'll shift over to Brandon real quick. So you're chasing this guy. You're second in the race. You're like, at what point and where did it seem like this was getting away from you? And what was the gap at the end, Brandon?
You know, I can't comment on much of the beginning of the race. I didn't get into like race mile 460 right there in Portecitos. So I can't comment on a lot that happened at the beginning. We did run into an issue at like race mile 56 with some sort of, I don't know, bottleneck early on, right before Europan there. So not exactly sure what happened there, but we lost some time there. Ended up coming out into Europan like way back in the class, and then we played catch up all day. My other driver, Ethan, put on a heater and tried to, gain a lot of positions back that he had lost somewhere in there. Yeah, we just chased Brock all day. I mean, he was on the gas. I got in at like 460 there in Portecitos and had a pretty good drive. I mean, really no issues. Obviously, San Felipe was, basically from there to the finish was rough. I mean, I thought it was pretty brutal compared to a lot of the other races, especially coming from last year's point to point. I feel like the point to points might be an easier, even though they're longer. I feel like they're less brutal in my opinion. Yeah, this race course was pretty brutal. I'll be honest.
Definitely scores when they deliver a loop course, they definitely deliver the beans. That's for sure. That Europan section, I saw the video. Fish, I'm sure you saw it also, right? With all the UTVs going around, someone was stuck, I think, on their side. Someone else flipped over in there. That's a tricky little section, and there are a couple of VCPs in there that make it hard to really do anything different other than going up and over that hill. So when I pre-ran that the final time, I was like, holy hell, this has been dug out so massively. I wonder is, are people stopping at the bottom and then going and just ripping it up? Because it seems like if you just drive up that hill, and I'll ask you, Josh, because you were in that section. It seems like you can just drive right up that section, but I don't understand where these giant holes come from. I mean, maybe people are stopping on them. Maybe the all-wheel drives are turning and tearing up but that corner at the top of that hill, I don't know exactly what race mile. I'm going to go with around 65. Really is actually, it's probably more like 60. Seems like it really dug a giant hole.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. It was Wayne, Ethan Groom, and then myself. And I was right behind Ethan, and he was right on Wayne. And we were kind of bumper to bumper, and we took a split. Wayne went right, Groom went left, I went right, trying to dodge his dust. And as I'm coming to the cattle crossing, all of a sudden I'm behind Wayne, and Groom got past Wayne on that split line. And I'm like, okay. And then he went up and just right in front of both of Wayne and myself did a pirouette and laid the car on its side. And Wayne tried to shoot the line to the right, and then I was kind of able to navigate a full like hill climb up and around through the shrub, and was kind of able to clean that and get by both of them early on, which was good for us.
Do you high five after that?
Yeah, I was pretty stoked on that because I was spending a lot of time in their dust, and it was kind of one of those like risk reward things at the start of the Baja 1000. You're 50 miles in, but like you also, Brock's up front just slicing and dicing through the 10 cars, and it's like you got to kind of pick your battles and make moves as quick as you can. And I was pretty stoked to kind of get them both in one spot and not have to really take any more risks. So it was kind of just trying to set sail from there and see if we could put any time on Brock, which was a tall order.
It always is. That Heger guy is pretty tough. McFadden, one of the young guns of the sport, obviously. Well, all these guys are relatively young as far as I'm concerned, but McFadden, you just turned 18 this year. You've been having some great success in our sport, and you won the Pro NA on the factory Honda team. That's got to feel pretty good. Is that your first Baja 1000 win?
This is actually our second Baja 1000 win. We raced last year in the forced induction class with Murray Racing, and we were able to get out there and take that win too. So, I mean, we got to win at 17 years old, and we got to win at 18 years old, which is super cool.
For sure. I can remember back when I was a Grom. I'll call you Grom at 18, young guy, out there battling and racing. And when you have success, it sure is awesome. And I got to be honest, we're still talking about that crap 30 years later, about how cool it was. So those are the memories that you make. I know your dad's a big supporter of your program, and he's really involved. I'm assuming he was super pumped on the result and everything that went down. Who raced with you?
Yeah, so the race, it was me. I started the race, and I went all the way to 380 with my Navigator, Sadie Gray. And then once we got there, the previous Talon driver from last year, he hopped in, Zach Sizelove, and he took it all the way to San Matias, where we got back in and took it home. And overall, we just had a super clean day. No issues at all. We didn't have to stop for anything other than fuel and a driver change.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, like Brock said the same thing, like to have a Baja 1000 and you don't stop for anything, like nothing, that's insane. That doesn't happen very often.
And that's what you need today to win in the classes, right? Because everything's so competitive. You need to have a perfect day or else you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, really, when you think about the old days, Michael, we just used to stop and have cigarettes and cheeseburgers on the side of the race course and get out to go to the bathroom and talk to the guys we were driving with.
Yeah.
We were trying to haul ass back then too, so stop picking on us old guys, all right? But I agree, it's very competitive, especially in the UTV classes. Michael, so NA, so no turbo, naturally aspirated. What's the top speed on your car, and how far off the pace of Brock, Brandon, and Josh are you guys? And again, for those out there that are watching and don't understand, the other three cars are turbo, they're unlimited cars, and Michael is running a car that's naturally aspirated. Yep. What's the difference really in the drive?
So in the Honda Talon, we're about 100 horsepower less than the turbo cars, and it has the DCT transmission, a 6-speed, and that thing works great. It helps get that extra mile per hour. So we're able to get about 86 going downhill, and it's been super good. Our overall time was 22 and a half hours, and we put that up against the turbo cars, and we would have been second place in the forced induction class.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. The only one that would have beat you was Phil Blorton. That was the only car that would have beat you in the forced induction class. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
Phil Blorton is pretty good, I heard.
Phil, he goes okay.
Yeah. The car's fun. It's just fast enough where you need to keep your momentum through all the corners since you don't have enough power. But it gets through the bumps. It really just goes through everything.
Yeah. So the car works great. How's working with Jeff Proctor? He's obviously had a very successful organization over there.
Yeah, he's been awesome to work with. We had some rough stuff in the beginning of the season trying to work out the bugs on a new car, but he was super helpful through the whole year, and we were able to pull off the Baja 1000 win. And that was our overall goal, because I got signed on to be the test and development driver of the Honda Talon. So we completed that. We were able to seal the deal with the Baja 1000.
Very cool. Brock, just for comparison's sake, I'll ask you other guys also. In the Polaris, what is your top speed that you can attain in your car?
That's a secret. I can't give that secret away. It is in the triple digits. Is our definitely our top speed. And yeah, I'll leave it at there. I'll let Brandon.
Can you
tell
us, Brandon, how fast you can go in your car?
I think I'm good for about 108 or so, plus or minus.
I was gonna say, I think I've seen. I mean, the trackers kind of give it away, right? Like if you look at the tracker and it pings when you're going fast. I've seen 110, I believe, on Brock's car on the tracker. So it probably goes a little faster now. It just depends on when it pings, right? But I've seen that.
And you two guys are in the Polaris. Josh, you're in the Maverick R Can-Am. What's your top speed?
Yeah, we were I mean, we were clicking down the coast at I could tell you we were clicking down the coast about 113, 114, and our splits weren't gaining on Heger, so I could tell you he's if I had to guess, you know, he's running right up there too. So yeah, it's kind of crazy though how comfortable they are at that speed. I feel like that's kind of the beauty of these new platforms is they're so stable and so comfortable that it you know you don't really feel like you feel, you know, the 80 miles an hour in the NA car, like you feel like you're doing 80. Like these cars we're doing 110, 112, and it's like it's not super stressful, which is very comforting at that speed.
And the other thing nowadays, like they're, you know, you guys both have transmissions with gears in your two cars, Josh and Michael, right? But then you guys have the belts down there. But Brock or Brandon, did you guys change a belt at all during the race?
Nope, no belt.
So
We were thinking about it. We had maybe an option to change a belt halfway through just to do it, but we kind of X'd that off the plan and kept the original belt.
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, before you'd be in a car and you'd go a couple hundred miles if you're lucky, right? And then they would blow a belt, or the top speed and you'd blow a belt. Now they're, you know, between the belt and the transmission, that's what's making these cars finish a lot higher too. They're not stopping to change belts all the time. They're just driving the whole time.
Yeah, and this class is really amazing for a couple of reasons. Not only is there great talent and some of the best drivers in our sport, but the factory involvement is massive also. I mean, all of these drivers here are racing vehicles that have some kind of support out there. And Brock, it's got to be a lot of fun for you being in this situation, having been along racing for a number of teams, now to be on a factory team. How do you enjoy working there with the factory team? And I know you're stuck working with Ryan Thomas, which is kind of a bummer, and Travis Clark, both couple wankers, but it's got to be a pretty cool feeling to be there.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. You know, growing up of racing, everything I kind of did, it was just kind of on your own, and you just kind of go to local companies and pay full price for parts. So with the factory support and Polaris, you know, it's cool to see their involvement. They always want to make the cars better, and yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we sometimes it feels kind of quiet because you're used to, you know, working on your stuff, getting ready to go to a race, and now you just kind of show up to test and show up to races, and everything's kind of set up and covered. So it's super cool, and the amount of support that Polaris offers is second to none, and it shows, you know, with the results we've been having.
Yeah, it's cool the competition between the different brands too, right? Like it kind of pushes each other. Like you guys are Polaris, you got Josh there's in the Can-Am, you got Michael in the Honda. Like that's three pretty big factory team names that are actually all supporting the race nowadays, right? It's not like you know, you see Ford's kind of out there maybe trying to do something Ford is, but you don't see Toyota, you don't see Chevy out there, you don't see anybody in these other classes out there anymore. So it's cool to see different manufacturers in the UTV class involved.
For sure. And Brandon, you guys tell us about your race program. You're not with Brock on the factory team, correct?
Correct. I've been supported by Polaris now for 10 years, but yeah, no, they do. They are obviously one of my bigger supporters. They help me out with a lot of everything. And yeah, I mean, I get lots of help from them. They are always cheering me on, offering any kind of support. But obviously, you know, come race day, it's all, you know, we're competitive and we're all going for that win. But at the end of the day, you know, they want to see a Polaris up there, and it's fun to have all other manufacturers' involvement, because it really does create a ton of competition between the manufacturers. And obviously we want to push Polaris to be the best, and obviously the other teams also want to do the same. So it's pretty cool to go out there and have the competition that we have. And yeah, Polaris is a huge involvement in my program.
Awesome. And Josh, I know that you're on the other platform with the Can-Am. You've had some great success being the top Can-Am finisher in the unlimited class. I think maybe 3 of the times this year, a 3rd overall at the 500. I know you won Vegas to Reno also. So it sounds like you guys have been doing quite a bit of development work. You, your Navigator partner Preston, working with Mitchell Alsop. How have things been coming for you guys on the builds and stuff?
Really good. The platform's been it's been solid. I mean, I'm pretty excited about everything. The car that Mitchell built is solid. We've been pushing the limits. We've had a couple little, issues, but nothing super crazy. I'm really excited for this platform, just kind of dialing it in. I mean, the Polaris, I mean, they kind of have so many cars and so many people ping ponging different little issues off each other that, like, those little things, like kind of Michael was saying, we got to be perfect to, you get a flat tire and you lose 4 track positions just in a flat tire now. So, like, going and making sure everything is just spot on race day is super huge. And with having this car and platform and the design and everything that Mitchell's doing, and as well as your help has been huge.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And Mitchell drove with you, and also Brad Howe. Brad Howe's kind of like an undercover guy that no one talks about, but he was in the driver's seat for a while as well.
Yeah. Him and when I got out, it was Brad up through San Felipe, and then Mitchell got in and ran it up through the rain to the finish. So, it was good. They had a couple small setbacks, but nothing super crazy. The car was solid. Mitchell came home, cleaned it up, and said everything looked great, ready to go again. So, it's super exciting. It's good to keep pushing on this platform and keep trying to run with these guys. They're it's a tall order, like I said, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy trying to run up top with the big guys.
Well, you've been doing a great job. I wanted to ask Brock before we're running out of time here on the UTV section. Brock, you're going to Dakar.
Yep.
How's that sitting with you? It's got to be pretty exciting, but a whole different animal.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's just you're racing off a road book, so that's definitely new to me. Good thing is I have Max Eddy, which drives another race car of ours under the team. So he's been a few times, and he's pretty good there in the right seat. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think it should be good. I kind of running out of time, but I'm gonna try to get some more road books under my belt and make sure I'm as ready as I could be.
I was going to say that's probably the biggest difference between Baja is you're really relying on the road book and your Navigator over there to know where to go at all.
Yeah, I mean, the cars are very similar to our current race cars here in the U.S. So I know the car's gonna be super good, and it's just up to me to try to see how we do. I know Max is gonna be super good in the right seat, and normally for me, I don't rely on a co-driver super crazy. So I'll have to kind of switch that up and listen to my co-driver a little more often.
You might want to do that. Yeah. Real quick, we're going to end this thing. My suggestion to you, Brock, is give your Navigator the time to compute what he needs to for your success. Rally is a whole different animal. I've raced it a couple times on bikes. It definitely takes some time to let it flow. And I know you're like a quick decision maker. You're going to have to give Max a second to compute some of that stuff. But we are huge Max Eddy fans, and we're stoked to have both of you guys representing the United States of America. We wish you the very best. Real quick from each one of you guys, what's the plan for next year? Go, Michael.
Next year, we're going to be going back to the Can-Am platform, and we're super excited to get going next year.
Awesome. What about you, Josh? What's your plan?
Same thing. Going to be running with Mitchell Alsop and doing a lot of the best in the desert. Score Mint 400. Got a pretty good schedule. Just got to kind of fine tune it and dial in what exactly we're gonna go after.
Copy. Brandon.
Yeah, we'll still be representing Polaris in the Pro R, and we're going to be shooting basically cherry picking the United States race, the big ones, and then the Score Series. So I think we've got 7 big races on our platform or on our schedule, and starts up in January.
Yeah, it seems like it never ends, right? King of the Hammers will be here before you know it. For me, I don't know what the rest of you guys are doing specifically, but yeah, I'm already talking about going to ride my dirt bike in the rocks. Brock, we know you're going to Dakar. What else are you doing next year?
Yeah, obviously still planning
I
on
mean, I
driving
mean,
the.
honestly, win Dakar, you don't have to do anything. You win the Ball 1000 and Dakar within a 3-month period, you can probably just coast for a couple years, but we hope to see you at some of the races.
No, I mean, even if I did that, I would still want to keep racing. That's part of the fun. But yeah, the plan is to still drive the yellow Players Factory racing car and doing the whole score series, doing KOH Desert and Rocks, and I think Vegas to Reno and possibly the Mint. So busy schedule, but excited to keep going out there and competing.
Right on. Well, I wish you the best of luck, Brock, Michael, Brandon, Josh, you guys. Thank you all for spending the time sharing some stories here. I know it seems kind of quick, but we're going to move on. And just for the record, Brock, my favorite color is yellow. I'm not sure you're my favorite race car driver, but definitely supporting you in Dakar, buddy. I love to see it, and we wish you the best. Have a great time over there.
Thank you. Thank you guys
Yeah,
for having us.
Go kick some butt over there.
That's the plan.
All right.
Thank you all. Have a happy new year. We're going to move on to the spec class, spec TT, and we're going to have some of the class 1 guys on here. Maybe I mean, the good news is that they're all in different rooms. They're not in the same place together, so we probably won't have a fist fight over start positions or battling between the classes, but we can still talk a little bit of smack in here. It looks like we got Thor Herbst, Riley Herbst, Brendan Gaughan, Cody Parkhouse, all in the house. And yeah, hey, let's start it off with which class was faster, the one or the specs?
Thanks for leading off with that, Cameron. Nice.
I'm just asking the damn question. So I'm gonna start off with the spec guys then. Hey, Riley and Thor, congratulations on your guys' finish. So talk to us. What's going on over there? How's it been going? I know that you're moonlighting a little bit as well. Hey, and we can see Cody Parkhouse now. He's a good looking dude. Riley, how's it been going, buddy? Talk about the race and how it went.
It was good. That's back-to-back wins for us in the Baja 1000. So I was lucky enough to have Thor let me drive, but yeah, it was a pleasure to be down there with my family and just keep ripping.
Nice. You guys are cousins?
Yeah. Yes, cousins.
Just verifying. Which one of you? Who's your dad? It's for everybody out there.
My dad is Troy. So
my dad is Tim.
Copy. So legendary brothers. Of course, your grandfather, a massive legend in the sport, which we can get to later with Brendan Gaughan because he has a bit of history running back with those guys. Let's talk about the spec class. It's loaded with talent, Thor. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, all of these classes that we have on today, the UTVs, the ones, the specs, the trophies, there's a lot of talent out there. You guys are going quick. Was it a clean day? Was there any problems at all? I mean, just smooth all day long?
You know, I can speak for, I think, Riley and myself and my brother. I think we had a few flats all together. I had one. Couldn't really tell you. It's one of those ones where it's kind of a mystery when you're going like 100 miles an hour and it just pops. But we were stuck in a little bottleneck with probably 40 other cars halfway through the race, which pretty much reset the race for the whole class. And other than stuff like that, no, we had no big issues that we had to really overcome besides a few flats and the bottleneck, but no.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys had a clean race. We'll come back to you in spec in just a second. Let's talk to these class 1 guys. Brendan Gaughan, family legendary in the sport. Mr. Gaughan is your father. And of course, you've had some great success going around in circles and in the dirt. How was your race? Only shot I really ever saw your car. There was another car crashing, and you guys are going around it as it's crashing. That's got to be pretty hair-raising to be right behind someone as they're busting out some stunt moves like that.
Yeah, that was Casey Mears at the start of the race, was driving the start for me. And I talked to him. He said that was wild. I mean, Coastal had just passed him, hit that little kicker. I think, Cody and I both seen the video. I think one of the Wilson cars hit that same thing and did the same deal there. But that was Casey that did that. And, he did. We have kind of what I call the fun team for class 1. I've got the 3 non-Hall of Fame kids for the 3 Hall of Fame dads. I got, Casey Mears, son of Hall of Famer Roger Mears. I got Buddy Feldkamp, Hall of Fame, father Bud Feldkamp, and me with my dad in the Hall of Fame. So we're the non-Hall of Fame racing, we call ourselves. And we keep trying, man. We've had the lead. We've been leading the last couple of years with 200 miles or less to go, and we just cannot get all the way to the finish. Had a great night. Got stuck in the same bottleneck as Thor. Cody was there. Cody was like 2 cars in front of us. I saw the Herbst, about 6 cars in front of us. We were all in that bottleneck together on the tractor trail, and that did kind of reset everything right from there. And it was, but I'll tell you what, man, the Baja is still Baja, and Cameron, it's you know how much fun it is down there. It's so much fun to be doing it. And Class 1 right now, the Class 1s we're cannibalizing ourselves. We keep eating ourselves to death. But I got to say, been doing this for, what am I, 49? I've been doing this for 36 years now, 35 years now. And I can't remember a time that Class 1 has had, I mean, it's small, right? Class 1 growing up was big. Now it's small. But it's more, I have more fun with the Parkhouse family, the Wilson family, the Reed family, when Damon shows up once in a while. It's the most fun I've ever had with just a small group of class. It's so much fun with the families that are racing right now. That is so cool. Even though Class 1's small, we still have the best time with the group that we got.
I think this is the first time we've had you on the show, so we've been waiting for you to do good, and you did good, and you get to come on the show finally.
Yeah, like I said, we won 19, and then since then, man, we've had a rough time, but it still has been a lot of fun. And like I said, it's the Class 1s. The Peninsula Run year, we had all of us a shot to win it because we had such a down the south we can be faster than the Spec Trucks, but man, them Spec Trucks, you watch how they go by us in some of these whoops. It's freaking crazy. I mean, it is absolutely insane what these trucks can do on the whoops. And
that's why you need to start behind us, Brenny.
Whoa. There's 2 of you guys that get us, 3 of you guys.
That's why you got to start behind us.
Who listens to the blue light? Who listens to the blue light?
You do.
Blue light or cages are smashed.
What did I tell you before the race?
You got 2 choices.
I'm afraid of your mom after the race. If that's
yes, that is true.
Cameron, just a side note. There's a great story with Thor.
Let's hear it.
4 or 5 years ago, I'm racing one of my last Daytona races, and it was COVID year. So it was 4 years ago, COVID year, and I'm in Class 1. We're leading Class 1, and I get stuck at Vegas. I don't race America, but COVID year I raced America. I'm racing Vegas to Reno. We went into a hole. We actually got stuck. Not bad. Just had a toe strap out and needed to pull out of this hole, and we're fine.
That was my brother.
Was it? It wasn't. I thought it was you.
That was Pierce.
Was it Pierce? You
Yeah,
sure?
I'm positive.
All right, it was Pierce. Well, it was one of them Herbst boys. I'm not talking about Riley changing his diapers. At least the other 2. So Pierce Pierce is like leading, and I got the toe strap out. We need 10 seconds. Just hook, bam, and go. And Pierce goes hauling ass by us. And they were my ride back to Vegas that night because I had a plane to Daytona the next day for qualifying. So I had to get on the plane with the Herbst family. And he goes by and I'm like, oh no. Now my ride just passed me. I'm in trouble. Coastal pulls up. They hook up to us. They pull us out. The Herbsts were like second at the time. Coastal was like 4th or 5th. They stopped. They were our teammate. They pulled us out. I got to the finish line and I go, where is the Herbst boy that was driving that truck? And Pierce comes walking up with his head down, and I go, you never leave me in the desert. You don't leave a gone in the desert. And his dad, Tim, looks and says, oh, Pierce, you're in trouble. He goes, your grandmother likes him probably better than she likes us, so you better watch out. And the whole ride home, I gave Pierce a rash of shit about leaving me. And then I looked at him and said, listen, you were leading the race. Don't stop. Make sure I'm okay, and then keep on digging. And they did, but I've been giving Pierce a hard time about that for 4 years now. And Thor gets that just because he's his brother. And Riley gets all sorts of other shit from me about his restarts. That's another subject
that green white checker was pretty good in Phoenix, though, huh?
About time.
Yeah, you like that, Brennan.
About time. That's all I got. About time.
Holy,
it was 14
Fish,
on
we were on the highway, Fish. I got in at Bay of LA. Thor got out after Fred's tractor trail, and it all just like stopped. So all 4 of us Spec Trucks are just pushing each other down the highway. Well, actually, I should take that back. We weren't pushing, no contact on the highway. We were nose to tail.
I did.
I look over to Jeremy, my co-rider. I was like, they don't know what's coming. This is green, white checkered right here. We're about to go green on the dirt. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, watch this. And we went 4 wide through the silt, bottling, door banging. It was sick. And he goes, that was some of the most fun I've ever had in the Silt. And I was like, I know I couldn't see shit, but it was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, so like
Oh,
I was gonna bring that up. All of you guys, including Cody, all of you guys were on Fred's, right? In the thing. So that was like restarting the whole race halfway through the race. And I was talking about it during our live update when we we're watching. I was like, watch, this is gonna be awesome, actually. The only thing that sucked is if you had started early, you now lost all that time because the guy that started behind you just made up all that time, right? So on corrected time, he was now probably way ahead of you on corrected time. So you really had to go if you were one of those first cars. And like Cody, I think everyone in class one, weren't all of you guys leading the race at some point and then had a problem and then everybody got passed? Right? What had happened with you guys, Cody?
Yeah, thanks, Cody. Thanks for driving hard off to the correction, right?
No, we all, yeah, unfortunately we had some issues at the 400, so we started way back. But yeah, I think every single one of us pretty much led the race at some point for a couple 100 miles and then had an issue. I got to the lead fairly around Colonet, I think it was. I got to the lead. And then I got a flat out right before.
Why'd you get a flat, Cody?
Honestly, that one I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the tractor trail one.
No.
Oh.
No, that right before BFG pit 2 out in Cameron's, as he likes to call it, Never Never. It was just a ghost flat. Didn't really see anything. And then Wilson's got back by me there, and I think whoever was driving Thor maybe at that point, the 219, they got by us, and a couple other spec trucks got by us there, and then kind of went through pit cycles, and we ended up back in the lead again, and I think we were in front of all the spec trucks even again. And then I got stuck, came around to, got blinded out in the Catavina silt bed, and gotten stuck in the trenches, and Pat Dean was stuck in the other Herbst truck. So I had a lot of dealings with Herbst going on at this race, and then but like I said, I was just stuck in the trenches of the silt and I couldn't get out of the groove, so I ended up getting stuck too. And then a few people all got back around me there, and then a couple of them got stuck in the silt there and kept going, and yeah, joined in the Fred's tractor trail mess. And
well, if you're gonna hang out with all the Herbst guys, maybe you should just move to Vegas with Brandon and all the Herbst boys, and you can be a part of the circus they got going on over here, laughing and carrying on like that. And yeah, it sounds like those silt beds got a little nasty down there by Catavina. I made Dave Mason Jr. handle all that stuff. I kept my driving suit clean and pretty, but I did stand in the middle of this wash for like an hour and 45 minutes and no cars came. And I was like, this is so weird. I wonder what the hell is going on out there. And it sounds like the Fred's was bottled like maybe 4 cars behind us or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, we sat forever in that full moon. It was so pretty out there. And then all of a sudden Justin Lofton went by, who we'd gone by earlier, but then for an hour plus, only slow dirt bikes. I was like, oh my God, where is going on here? Really what I was saying is, damn.
Who was first to it? Cody, were you right behind? Was it Sendero that went off the side? Is that who it was that I was told?
No, it was the 37L, the Ralph Helen truck, however you say his last name. It was that truck. That was the first one that got stuck. And they weren't even stuck. It was on the side. Weird. It seemed like in the video, because you guys were right behind him, the 219, right?
We were about 3 or 4 cars back. They were just on the turn, so I couldn't see. But yeah, we were one of the first cars there.
Yeah, it was like they went to make the corner and they were scared they were going to go off the edge or something, and they couldn't quite make the corner all the way, which was kind of weird. But it got all of the ones, it got all the specs. Like nobody made it through besides trophy trucks. It was only trophy trucks that had gone through at that point.
I was told it was actually Picoy driving at that point.
It was actually. I wasn't going to say anything, but it was.
Anyway, how about them Dodgers?
I was only throwing them out there because,
I thought it was Cameron at first because they had a camera on that truck, right? The 37L had a live stream. So I turned it on right away and I see what I thought was Cameron walking around because your guys' Desert Assassin suits, it looks the same as your suit. And I was like, what is Cameron doing there? And then I was like, and then someone said Picoy. I was like, oh, okay. That's why it looked like Cameron.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I was busy. I had my feet up somewhere else having a cheeseburger.
So,
The fat
hey,
people.
Riley, you how many miles did you do?
You're gonna
See,
talk
that's the
crap.
thing.
Wait, hold on. He's gonna talk crap, Riley.
That's fine. I'll take it.
Go ahead.
I was just happy to be there. I think I got in at Bay of LA and got out at Morelia Junction. So that was like 190 miles, 60 of it's asphalt. Did my
Hey,
section.
we knew he likes asphalt, so we were like, let's just
I did my
There's the
section
answer.
and then gave it to Piercy and Piercy drove it in.
You know,
And
I bet you, Riley. I bet you had one of the fastest times on that section. Like you were probably the fastest one through that section.
I bet I was better.
X and everything.
stop it.
Damn, you cut the insides of the corners on the pavement, like get it
Damn
right.
right.
Get it
Damn right I
Everyone.
do. I
Everyone.
went up a mile on Cullen.
I had the legend in front of me, Troy, in the chase truck. So I was straight lining every single corner. That's how
Hey,
we
did you ask your chase crew about what they looked at when they passed us on the road in my class 1?
Yeah, why did you not have a helmet on the highway, Brendan?
We hit the pavement. We had this plan. We hit the pavement and we took our helmets off. We had motorcycle goggles, beanie caps. We had lunch. We had dinner in the car. We had 5-hour energies. We had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Gatorades, water. And me and Mike Montez had beanie caps and motorcycle helmets. And we drove the whole pavement just having a nice red lit moonlight dinner on the pavement and made up a mile on Cullen in his
I don't know if that's legal.
What's illegal about it?
I don't know if that's legal. I'm just going to put that out there.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
The results are anybody. I'll tell it proudly. We thought we were smarter than the average bear. Come on, we're a little bit older, right? We get a little sore once in a while. You got to stretch the neck. Got to get a little motion. Cody, come on. These young punks, they don't know nothing about that. We gotta relax a little.
I might be a little bit more seasoned than some of you guys, but I would never take my helmet off. I'm just saying that's your deal, man. Not me. Not for me.
Listen, we were on the pavement. It was easy. We had dinner. The Herbst chase truck came by and they actually stopped and looked and went, like, what are these two clowns doing? As a matter of fact, I sent your daddy a text with a picture of us during the race.
Texting and driving too. Wow.
While no helmet. That's all time.
You're breaking all the rules there, Brendan.
Well, Jose G is watching this right now, like making notes, right?
It's fun. Come on, listen. But between the guys you got on here, Fish, with the Parkhouse family, how long they've been doing it, Cameron, how long he's been doing it, the Herbst family, how long they've been doing it. You got probably 150 years of family experience going on just on this stream right here. So I mean, this is kind of a cool little group you got built here when you talk about the length of time these families have been all racing in the desert.
Oh, every single one of you guys has done some stuff in Baja because that's what's fun about it, right? Like especially back in the day, it used to be a little bit more open than now, right? And that's the fun part. But now, back in the day, you used to be able to change a transmission, you used to be able to change a gear set, you used to be able to change stuff and still win the race. But how close are you guys now in the Spec Trucks? I mean, you guys can't even do anything and have a chance to win just about, right?
Well, yeah, last race in the was it the 400? Technically we did finish first, but Pierce on the highway, he had a little speeding incident where he was going like 20 behind a semi and tried to get around him and sped up and then down, and then those dings every I don't know the exact rule book, but it's like every 5 miles an hour it dings, and every 5 over that dings again, and on the way down it dings. So just that little stint right there was enough. I think we finished like 7 seconds, and at the end of a 400-mile race, in front of, I forget who ended up winning the race. But with that penalty, just screwed us. I think we got third. But yeah, just little stuff like that. I mean, you need to be perfect on the highway. You need to not get any flats to even be in consideration for the win in this class. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And back in the day, it was full speed on the highway. Both of your dads drove full speed on there. Cameron, I don't remember you. I'm sure you were full speed. Brendan, you guys were full speed. Parkhouse, probably back in the day, like that was crazy. You'd be doing as fast as the car would go on the highway, and people were passing, and just it was nuts.
I am very thankful. I've been racing trophy trucks for 22 years. My 22nd season. I never had to race the trophy truck at full speed on the highway. The speed limits came in, and I did not have to do that. I'm super happy. I know Brendan had to run full speed. So
absolutely scary.
I did it in 1600 cars and scared the shit out of myself.
I remember racing in class ones and class one trucks in 92, 93, 94. I'm 16, 17. You know what I mean? I'm a baby. And you have dads in helicopters, and you have, Mr. Herbst in a helicopter, and they're calling you, telling you it's clear around a cliff. And my dad was the king of it. You'd be going around, you'd be behind a semi, and you'd hear my dad say, clear. And you'd pull out to start passing something, and he'd go, oh, wait. And I was 15 years old riding with Glenn Harris, and my dad did almost ran us off a cliff by getting hit. And Glenn Harris started screaming at my dad in the helicopter, told him to shut the blank up and stop talking around these things. And the old highway deals were absolutely frightening when you were talking class. I mean, were class ones as fast back then? Were the trucks as fast? No, but on the pavement they were, and it was absolutely ridiculously scary, some of the stuff we used to do. And that's one of the things I'm so glad we don't do anymore.
Really quick, we didn't cover this yet. I did want to shout out Brendan. You were third with your team, and Cody Parkhouse, you and your dad were second. Brian, who I've been racing against for 40 years, and the Herbst boys. You guys, I wanted to shout out Class 1 winner was Cody Reed. They weren't able to be on the show today. Thor
He was invited, by the way, just so no one's angry.
Okay, I'm not angry. I was just giving a congratulations.
Not you. I'm just saying other people are always like, how come you didn't have the buggy guy, or you didn't have, he was invited, he couldn't make it.
Hey, Fish, generally speaking, people are just angry because they don't like you.
Probably.
That's the way it goes. That's why you're not a sponsored athlete. You're the reporter guy. In the Spec Truck class, third place was Jose David Ruvacaba Adame. I don't know. I'm not sure who that is. I never heard of him, but shout out to Jordan Brenthal, who was also invited to the show here today. He's qualifying at the Legacy race. Yeah. And obviously Thor, Riley, and Pierce kicking butt out there. You guys won by about 10 minutes, man. That's a good space. I got to ask, this leads me into my next question, which I could probably ask Brendan the same, and Cody, but you Herbst boys, you guys got a whole shop full of crap over there, lots of big motors. So I'm just curious to know if you donkeys are going to be racing trophy truck anytime soon, or if you guys are going to go spec truck racing again next year. And don't lie to me, you circle car racer guys.
No, I can speak for I guess the whole 219 program. I think we're going to be racing spec. I personally love it. A lot of competition. The trophy truck is fun, but I enjoy the safety and slow motion of the spec trucks in this class. I don't know. I think it's a really, really fun class. I think there's a lot of competition. Who knows? Maybe a race or two. Me and Pierce might go in the trophy truck, but I don't really have a plan for that.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that's the best racing is in that class right now for the most amount of people, and unless you're going to get in an all-wheel drive, and Cameron, sorry, but it's really tough to run up front if you're in trophy truck class, right? So, and the Herbsts are not going to go race another chassis, just saying how it is, right? They're not going to go race a Mason truck, and the Herbsts don't currently make an all-wheel drive, so it doesn't really make sense for them to go in a trophy truck, my opinion. I would stay in spec right where you guys are. It's fun, you're winning the races, and it's exciting to watch. And you guys, shout out to you guys and Be More and everybody. You guys have the best live in-car, helicopter, all that stuff is freaking awesome. And it works 99.99% of the time. And it's rad to see that. You guys' stream works better than everyone else by far. And even when you're at Fred's, I was watching your stream just to see what was going on there. And now we know, because back in the day, you'd see the tracker and you'd see a bunch of people stop there, but you don't know what's going on. Now 5 people there have the camera. You just go look at the camera and you can see exactly what's going on, which you guys just remember that if you are stopped, because a certain spec truck didn't remember to turn theirs off, and so just remember that.
Yeah, no, the live stream is really, really cool, especially with our program you can call the 1.9 or triple Herbst, having, let's say, 3 or 4 different cars on the live stream. So when one is, let's say, out of service or can't connect, it switches to the next. There's always something going on, and there's always some action to see. So it allows you to switch between the cars and see the best, thing going on at that time. So that is a really, really cool thing that that B Moore and he works with our race shop with, and he does an excellent job.
B Moore, for those of you that don't know, is Brian Moore. He's a passionate off-road guy who's been making movies and owns his own media companies. He's been a big part actually of Trail Emissions and Ripped Cabo over the years with his boys, our trips that we do for Monster Energy down in Baja. And yeah, huge shout out. It's been great to watch the live content develop. And we do have a Starstream Pro in our truck as well, and it's amazing. But I will say B Moore has been a huge part of this leading edge of the onboard live content. He's really good to work with. We've always had a fun time with him. So stoked you guys have him on your team. I'm sure that everybody else would like to have on their team. But yeah,
another person that I would like to at least say, George Hamill. It helps not just us. He helps everybody. That is another guy who absolutely kills it. So
yeah,
did you see our Rip to Cabo show by any chance? We actually had George Hamill on ESPN with his Starstream Pro. It was pretty cool to see George on there get some love. And his passion for the sport is undeniable. What a great human this guy has.
No, those two together are quite the duo, and they have been getting this sport to people who don't really get to see it. So,
we got to go to the next segment in a couple of minutes.
Oh, you cutting these guys off?
No, I said I want to know something. We got to talk about this before they go. Who is going to start first next year? Should it be the trophy truck specs or should it be the class ones? Who's going to start first at score?
The spec should start before the
Cody knows my answer. I think you should qualify all of us together and let us all start like in America.
The specs should start before the class.
I think that would put you in front of trophy trucks.
Listen,
I said you should start in front of trophy trucks.
If there could be 5 spec trucks starting ahead of us, I'd be okay with that. The rest of them are all not at all at your level.
That's a fair argument.
I think they should let, just like we do in America, spec truck, class 1, and trophy truck all qualify together. And if Thor goes out and qualifies 12th in the trophy truck class, he starts 12th. And I think because I believe that those kids, especially him, the Grabowski boys, them kids are fast.
I agree. There's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of talent there. The only thing that I would say is that with the spec truck only capable of going about 110 more or less, it's a little bit dangerous to have good trophy trucks that maybe didn't qualify as well right behind them going 140 miles an hour potentially. It's just something to think about.
Cameron, the only place you're going to do 140 is when you're on places that are super fast at a dry lake, at maybe a couple long roads where you're the spec truck and if they out qualify them, because we both know, Cody and I definitely know, I've passed trophy trucks at mile 2 in racing.
That's the same conversation that Cody's having. Is I think there are 1 cars that should start in front of some trophy trucks, but the closing ratio has to be accounted for. Now, just for instance, on the Ojos Road, we're going 130 miles an hour, right? And the spec trucks can only go 108. You got to think about that stuff. Safety is something that's got to be involved. But I do agree that the very best of the spec truck class should likely start in front of the very best of the 1 cars. And I do agree that the very best of the 1 cars and the best of the spec trucks should probably start in front of some of the trophy trucks. But how we get there is a whole nother animal. And I think maybe it does come with what Brendan is saying about maybe qualifying together. But maybe this is something I talked about years ago, the Fast 40. The Fast 40 maybe start in that first 40 trucks, and maybe that's the first 20 are trophies, and then the next 5 or 8 are specs, and the next 5 or 8 are ones, and then the rest of the people start in order of how they qualify because they're more comparable. Something like that maybe could be safe to do, but I do agree that it is unfair for the fast spec trucks to start behind the slower 1 cars, and again, the slower 1 and spec starting behind what I would consider to be recreational or hobbyist trophy truck racers.
Especially San Felipe. Cody and I, no matter how hard we try, we can't go down Zoo Road as fast as you guys. It doesn't matter what we do. So I mean, especially a place like San Felipe.
I got an idea. That's why both of you two should go to 19industries.com and buy a spec truck. You can race with us and see
End it on that
if
note.
you want to drive with the Spec Trucks, and I feel like
Buggy
you'll be
dork.
a lot happier. You could go
Buggy dork.
105 through Zoo Road and be plush. It'd be perfect, dude.
Buggy
Riley
dork.
with
Love
the
you, Riley.
Riley with the zinger right there at the end. A total pitchman for 19 Industries. Just call Ryan Arciero. He's a general manager over there, and grind him out for a deal.
It's the best Spec Truck in the game.
Yeah. Hey, well, you guys.
There's a holiday deal going on right now.
There it is. Cyber Monday.
For some reason, I don't see the Park Houses, the Wilsons, or the Gons getting in Spec or trophy trucks anytime soon. It seems like.
Hey, you got a shot with Ryland, Riley. Work on Ryland and Pop Pop.
But I will say this: Pat Dean drives trophy trucks now, so anything's possible.
He's old. He's gotten old.
That's true too. He's old, but so am I. Hey guys, thank you all so much. Cody, Thor, Riley, Brendan, thank you guys for being here. Good fun segment. Brendan, I will say you are definitely one of the most fun drivers that we have in our sport. I know your NASCAR experience is good. All you guys have been awesome today. I love the banner between the Herbsts and the Gons. That goes back, my guess, somewhere around 35 to 40 years, going back to Jerry and Mr. Gon, and you guys being kids, and Timmy, Eddie, and Troy being kids. That's a huge part of our culture in the sport, and very cool. And
Riley, congrats on your NASCAR ride next year.
Yeah, what about that? How stoked are you on that deal?
I'm very stoked. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's been a lot of hard work to get to this point, and I'm excited to go racing with 2311 and everybody at Toyota. So hopefully I can come down and play with Thor and Pierce in the 1000 next year in November, but we're going to be grinding away for 39 weeks next year in the Cup Series. So I'm excited and see how that's going to shake out.
Hey, well, just like we all, even though we want to beat Robbie Gordon in the desert when we were all kids, we all cheer for him when he's out on the track. So we will be cheering for you guys, whether we want to beat you or not in the desert. We're looking forward to seeing you guys have success on the pavement and in the desert for that matter.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, boys, that's going to do it.
Grandmother just texted me, both you boys. She says she still likes me better.
That's right. See you
So
guys.
awesome.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys. We'll bring in
See
the
you guys
trophy.
later. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Dang, good fun family legacies right there. I mean, Jerry Herbst leading the charge for the Herbst family. And I mean, a huge amount of years under their belt for all these teams. And speaking of iconic families, legacies, people that have been in the sport for a long time, people that are winners. Look at this hitter crew coming in right now with no introduction needed. The man, Rob MacCachren, the greatest off-road race car driver of all time, in my opinion. Probably the budding to try to take over Rob's spot, Luke McMillan in the house. Alan Ampudia has been nothing but phenomenal since he's joined the Trophy Truck group, and maybe surprised us a few years ago. Now you're expected to win, and congratulations on your Trophy Truck championship. We'll talk about that. And then some random dude that can't get his camera to work.
He's in the middle of the lake bed. He's pre-running a code race right now, actually. So we'll give him a little slack.
Jason McNeil joins us.
There
Oh,
he is.
hey, Fiberworks team in the house.
What's going on?
Jason driving with Tavo this time around. So I'm going to start real quick with Alan Ampudia. Alan, great racing year. Congratulations on that championship. That's something you battled with Tavo right down to the very end, right? I mean, you guys were second and third, and had it flopped the other way, the championship would have gone the other way.
Yeah, it was a good battle all year long with all these guys, and it came down to the wire between me and Tavo, which made it very interesting for all of us.
Very cool having two Mexican national teams involved. Your family with a ton of legacy with your father and uncle, and just great to see you guys smashing like that. We'll talk more about your race as a solo driver with you and Kyle, but I want to bring in these winner guys here. Luke McMillan has been breaking hearts and hurting feelings for years now. Luke, congratulations on pinging another Baja 1000 win. Is that five? Is that five for you?
No. Well, first of all, thank you. It's great to win another one. But number four. Fourth overall, or four overall, and then six in class. So, but that all-time four-wheel number is the one I'm chasing, but I keep bumping some guy up. So Rob,
you're helping. You're patting. You guys are working against each other a little bit.
yeah, that's all right. I mean, I'm a big fan of his, so I'm happy with it.
Well, as a student of the game, Luke, looking at the field out there and you know, looking at people you can team with, it would be pretty hard to find. I mean, obviously you have some favoritism towards your brother or your cousin, but how hard would it be to try to find someone when you have Rob there? It's like, this is the greatest guy that's ever been in the sport. What a team up.
Yeah, no, it would be hard. I don't know what I would do. In fact, well, I guess I do know what I do, but I'd probably solo without him, but he sure makes it a heck of a lot easier. I mean, and I'm lucky prior to him, Rob and I have won 3 together, but prior to him, I had Larry Rosler, you know, who's right, you know, as far as Baja racing goes, is also one of the greatest of all time. So been very fortunate to race with good guys, and Rob's phenomenal and just become a really good friend. And I've always been a huge fan of his. That's what's funny is when we started racing, you know, Amber always texts me. She gives me shit every now and then because I'm like, I'm a bigger fan than I am, you know, a teammate and stuff. So, but no, Rob, of course, does a great job, and there's no one better. Every time Rob has delivered a truck to me, it's in perfect condition and maybe right there in the lead. I mean, just there's no one better. So I'm very fortunate to race with him. And if it wasn't him, it'd be, like you said, it'd be a family member, or I'd love to go after what Alan's doing and solo one. So that's on the bucket list.
Yeah, well, I know that Rob loves all the adoration. He loves sitting here and listening to all of us talk about him. So we'll get him here. Rob, I know you're not a huge fan of us all giving you high fives, but you've done an incredible job with this sport. Is that 9 overalls in the Baja 1000?
No, it's 7. 7 overalls.
7 overalls. 3 with Luke.
Yep.
And then is it 3 in your own truck?
My own truck, 14, 15, and 16, driving with Andy and Jason Boss. And then 2007 was the first one with Mark Post.
With Mark. That was your first Baja 1000 win, was the 1,300-mile one to Cabo.
Yeah, and I always forget Carl Renazetter drove in the middle of that race too. So, yeah. And Luke does keep helping me, which I wonder, like, when's he going to fire me? But it's definitely you know, great time racing with Luke and the McMillan family. And a lot of you guys know the heritage there all the way back to Corky and Scott and Mark, and then you know, Dan, Luke, and Andy. So it's definitely a lot of fun. It makes, honestly, you know, it's, you know, obviously you're looking back in hindsight, you know, how easy the races ended up being for me starting the race. And honestly, I was more, so I'll go back to 21 racing with Luke. And I was probably the most nervous of any race that I'd done in a long time, because, you know, knowing that he was on 2 in a row, or trying to get 2 in a row and then 3 in a row. But as the time has gone, it's just become like, hey, look, I just need to go drive the truck and do what I can do and get it to Luke in a good position and as good a truck as he can, and let him go from there. But yeah, very fortunate to be able to drive with them. And as you all know, their team is you know, I say it's a very well-oiled machine for sure.
For sure. And no one greater to race with than legends like Mark and Scott McMillan. I mean, great people. Scott, of course, the Grand Marshal at this race. It was great to see Scott up there, your uncle Luke, talking at the press conference and other places. Rob, I got to ask, after all these years, you and I have been racing since the 80s. Do you still get pre-race butterflies a little bit? Do you still have a little bit of uncertainty at times? You were just kind of talking about it back in 21, but do you feel that?
A little bit. And ultimately, you know, I guess when it's my own program, you know, I don't as much. And, you know, just knowing the effort, you know, elaborating a little bit on the effort that the McMillan family puts in, and Luke, you know, he's sometimes, you know, I used to say he's a lot like me, but he's like crazier than me, just all the
No.
He's a nerd. I mean, he's a student of the sport. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he remembers, you know, I don't, you know, I guess probably as I get older, like I don't remember what place I got last year at this race or whatever. And I feel, you know, Luke and even his cousin Andy, it's like those guys know exactly what happened to all of us, I think, in every race, it appears. But you know, yeah, pre-race jitters a little bit. You know, they kind of build, and then I ask myself, like, what are you doing? Like, you've been doing this so long. But it goes and comes, like I said. You know, pressure builds up, and then I let it back down, and just, you know, again, like I said, I had to tell myself, you know, just do what you do, and it'll all play out.
For sure. Well, you guys definitely do what you do. You got it done. And speaking of jitters, pre-race jitters, I got to jump here to Jason McNeil, who obviously has been around the sport quite a long time, trophy truck racer, has been partners with Pistol Pete, champion in the Spec Truck class, one of the fastest in our sport. But it's got to be kind of interesting, Jason, to get that tap on the shoulder from the Vildosola family. Obviously, Gus has been in the sport for a long time, and Tavo is one of our heroes. How does that conversation go? And are you like, holy crap, the Vildosolas just called me to drive their trophy truck?
Yeah, it was a dream come true. It was something that I was not expecting, and obviously with the level of team that they have, and with the kind of like just like the McMillans, they really spend a lot of resources and a lot of. I mean, I've seen, and my eyes have been opened, being able to be blessed to see what goes behind the curtain in their facility and with their team, Javi and Steve. And I mean, they have a lot of guys, Dave Clark, and guys that have been around for a long time, and they have a really good team, and driving one of these Masons has been a dream come true for me for sure.
Awesome. Did you take your Navigator with you?
No, actually, because Javi's, I mean, he's such an asset in the truck. I don't think there's another Navigator that has so much knowledge, not only about navigating, but knowing the truck inside and out. And actually, when I went to go drive the truck the first time, he could kind of see that my driving style was a little bit different than Tavo's, and swing back by in there, plugged in, and was adjusting throttle and for the motor, and it was just so. No, I was a little bit hesitant, to be honest with you. I've never, had him in a co-driver seat, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking to see how that was going to go. But no, he did a great job. He rode with me the whole time.
That's all three of you guys, all of your co-drivers rode the whole race, right? We had Jason Duncan rode with Luke and Rob the whole time. We had Kyle Kraft rode with Alan, and Alan obviously in the car all the time, and then Javi. I mean, that's probably says something when the top three trucks have the same Navigator in the truck the whole time, right? They play a pretty big role in these races down there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Your Navigator is a huge part of it, and I think sometimes they don't get enough love. Cody Stewart, I love you. My Navigator. I'm sure he's watching down there at Jackson. But yeah, the Navigator plays a huge part of it. And it's interesting to see, have them Ironman. And speaking of Ironman, Alan, you did it. You finished top 3 in the race, driving the entire thing. How was it? And were you second guessing it when you had a little bit of problems down there before race mile 718?
I mean, I was never second guessing it. I'll say that. And I love you, Kyle, if you're watching. Also, thing you love. But no, I mean, I prepared myself. I trained pretty good because I knew it was going to be a task, especially that second half. Everyone that drove it was not easy. It was hard on the body. It was no brakes really, except for that lake bed for a little bit. But it was interesting for sure. I mean, we were moving along early in the day, passing some people, and then at one point we were right behind Rob, and then I got a flat, and I got passed again by Andy and Paul Wheel, and then we just kind of just moved along with everybody. As the night fell in, Andy was broken down, or Dan, I should say, and then Paul Wheel, and then it was just again, here we go, me and Luke again, and then Pablo, I think, had some problems early on, so he was a little further back, and then Mr. Jason McNeil decided to send it in the in the desert loop, and when we came back out to like Villas del Sol, like they were right in there in the fight again. So we're like, oh shit, all right. So now it's championship. We're trying to get the win, just trying to go for it. I had some problems with my visor. I couldn't get it to open. It was fogging up since the beginning. So driving at night under like 40 miles per hour, it would just fog up completely. So it was like driving in dust, which made it a little more difficult and frustrating for sure. But, it was fun. And then, the power steering belt decided to let go at mile 7, like 70. And that's all she wrote. Basically, after that, we're just trying to finish. But it was really fun battling with these guys. They kept me honest all day for sure. And we had a good time. Can't wait to do it again next year for sure.
What
Right.
what was going through your mind? I mean, we were watching on the tracker, and like the battle with you right there at the end was you guys were right there. And then when that happened and you guys came to a stop, at first we didn't know what happened. You know, we just see the tracker go to zero. What were you guys thinking? Because at that point you had the championship, you had the race win possibly, you had all that right there. What were you thinking when that happened
I
right
mean,
there?
we were battling with Luke. I think he had about like 3 or 4 minutes at that point, and then Tavo was like also like 3, 4 minutes behind me. So we're all pretty close after 700 miles, and I was like, "All right, here it is." I mean, we're gonna go. I wanted to win because obviously, if I won the championship. But so I was going after Luke for sure, and I know obviously Tavo and Jason were coming after us. So I just was sending it after Valley T. I was like, all right, these are the last 130 miles. I know them pretty well. I'm pretty fast, I feel like. So I was like, I'm sending it. So I was going for the win. And then right after Hamao, it was when it popped, and I was just like, oh, there's no way after almost 800 miles it decides to let go now, like when it counts the most. So that was kind of frustrating. Obviously, we're just there. Tavo went by us, and I was like, oh man, here we go. And I didn't really know how far the fourth place was, but I was like, man. So we kept going, and then it popped again. And I was like, there's no way. All right, this is it. So then when we got that fixed, Lofton was like a minute behind me. And I was like, damn, if he gets by me, because I had to drive super slow because in the tight stuff it was like squeaking. So I was like, man, it's gonna let go again. And then that's that. There's the championship, everything, you know. So we're just kind of babying it there to the end. And Lofton never got close to us because he soloed it too. So I'm pretty sure he was pretty beat up like we were. And we just kind of cruised it in, and that was enough to at the end of the day get the championship. So pretty stoked on that. I mean, obviously I wanted to win like we all do, but we'll try again next year.
Right. We all want to win. Speaking of winning, Tavo's here. Hi, Tavo. Welcome to Fishgistics this afternoon, buddy.
Gentlemen, sorry for being late.
No, you're not late. You're right on time.
Perfect. It all worked out.
We were just talking to Jason, and he said he thought he was faster in your truck than you were, and that you should give him the ride for the whole year.
Most likely, yeah, that's no problem. I'm an old man, you know.
Watch how you say that. Rob and I are listening.
I see you guys. I see you guys.
Oh, shit. Good race, Tavo. We obviously, with live stream and everything going on, we can watch that first part of the race. Looked like you guys were on a heater. I know there was some kind of issue in Catavina. I don't know if you got stuck or what happened, but that was one of the things that I wanted to ask about, because it seemed like a really weird spot where the truck was stopped. Were you battling for position right there on the road, and something happened?
Yeah, in the back loop there, behind El Rosario and coming back around into Catavina, there's some silt beds at race mile around 306 that can get nasty. Actually, in 2016, I was putting through those silt beds and got high centered, and then it just became a mess through there with Armin and Robbie, and there was a bunch of us ended up getting stuck there. So that was in the back of my head.
That was a huge mess that year.
Yes, it was. And I was the first one that's caused it. So points for me. So yeah, I mean, I was behind Andy, and I would, when we're going down the road, you see him make a right, you're like, okay, counting down. He was 40 seconds in front of me, then he was 30 seconds in front of me, then he was 25 seconds in front of me, and I think I got down to 20, and I was like, well, going through the silt, but I think 20 is good enough for the dust to die a little bit, but when I get there, I can't see anything. Like, I literally can't see anything. Later, I found out that Toby just changed to flat, so he's on the road. Alan just went by like a minute in front of Toby, and then Andy's right behind him. So it's 3 trucks in the silt. I'm not going to stop because I did that in 16 and I got high centered. So I'm just kind of feeling the rail going through the silt bed, can't see anything. And then we drop into the wash, and the truck kind of veers to the right a little bit. I'm just going, and I hit this bush and hit it with enough speed to where I climbed on top of it. But, the truck is not 4-wheel drive in reverse. So I try to go reverse, and it just digs in. And then I try to go forward, and it's like stuck with the branches. So we're like, F, and we're sitting there for 16 minutes and 42 seconds. Lifting it on one side, Javi's breaking branches off, stuffing them under the tires, let it down, raise it on the other side, breaking branches off, stuffing them under the tires. And it was just one of those things that it's bad luck. Me not stopping where I was supposed to stop, or before the silt bed and letting it die down. Whatever it ends up being. It cost us 16 minutes and 42 seconds, and most likely an opportunity to chase down Mr. Luke for the race win. So it sucked. It was a bad spot. It looked like nothing from the air. I saw the pictures and everything, but it's just when you're in the silt and you're kind of railing along, then those rails disappear because we drop into the wash, and we hit the tree, and that's basically what happened. But we never gave up. I mean, Jason did an amazing job after that and regained some positions, and then I got back in the truck at Valley T, and we were able to do what we were able to do. But it just, that's what happened at 306, 307.
Yeah, I hate to highlight that, but it was such a weird image to see that. I think all of us that saw it were like, what in the hell happened? So that's a great explanation. I mean, the thing about it is there's so much traffic and so much going on up there. It really is hard with the dust. And so I can see where that could be something so crazy and out of the norm. And that's what I saw when I looked at the photo. I was like, I don't understand. But it's cool to get the explanation. Hey, Alan, when you guys lost the steering, so you guys lost the belt, popped off, and then it happened again. What was the cause, or why? Do you know why?
We don't know. I think in those masons you have to really tighten the power steering belt, like really, 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 really tight. So I think it was just not tight enough the second time. I mean, Kyle did an amazing job, changed it, did it as best he could. It's really hard to do it with one person. And but yeah, it just popped again, and then after that we're just pretty much scared that it would pop a third time and then we would lose third place in the championship. So we just babied it, but we think that's it. I mean, there's no really other explanation. It's weird that it popped. It never has happened before. So it's just kind of a one-off, I guess. We don't really know. We're still trying to figure it out and get it figured out for 2025 for sure.
When it happened, you guys had one of the cameras live too, right? And I was actually broadcasting my update, and I had it on, and we hear you guys yelling at each other, and I'm like, oh man, like it was actually kind of cool for us to be able to hear, because it let everybody kind of feel like what it's like at that point, like he was a little frustrated, you were a little frustrated, but that's what's really happening, right? Like it's cool. People never got to see that before, they see a dot stop on a tracker and they have no idea what happened, but when you can hear it or see what's going on, it's pretty cool to watch, even though it sucked for you guys. It was cool for everybody to be able to see that.
Well, funny you say that, because we had no clue that it was that you guys had it, or like outside people had it, and everyone could hear us talking. But we're stuck there, and I'm trying to relay in the radio that we're everything's good, but we're just changing the belt. And then they're on the radio telling me all this kind of stuff, like, hey, make sure Kyle checks that the pulleys move and stuff. So I'm just trying to relay the message to Kyle. But obviously Kyle is down there trying to change it, fighting the belt. And I'm like, hey, yo, check that the pulleys move. And he just snaps back at me for no reason. But I understandably so, he's just frustrated, So he starts yelling at me. So I snap back at him. I'm like, F you, and like, don't yell at me like that. You don't have to be like such an ass. And then later we found out that everyone could hear us yapping at each other like a married couple. But I mean, you guys know that sometimes that happens with your co-driver, and it's all love. I mean, I love Kyle. He was doing his best, and he felt horrible that everyone could hear him sound like an ass.
Did you ever get tired? Because you did the whole thing. Did you ever get tired?
I mean, I think when the belt snapped and we just kind of like cooled for like 10 minutes or whatever, that's when like I was like, oh man, my back's a little sore, my shoulders are a little sore. But if it wouldn't have stopped, I mean, I wouldn't have felt it till we got home, because of the adrenaline and everything. But definitely after we got going again, and then the second time was a little longer stop, I definitely was feeling the bumps and every little G out that we hit a little too hard. So I mean, I just prepared myself, like I said earlier. I did hit the gym pretty good, ate right. I had a nice little meal plan throughout the whole race that kept my energy up and stuff like that. So I felt pretty good. Like I said, I prepared myself pretty good, so I was ready for more.
More. I love it. Rob, do you have a meal plan? I mean, it's interesting to me that we have 3 teams here and all 3 had a different strategy on how to split the race up. And maybe I'll ask Tavo first, and then maybe Luke. How'd you come up with the plan? I mean, you guys went with a 3-segment plan, which is the same that we did. I felt like it was a great plan for us. I really liked it. Dave Mason Jr., by the way, did a great job driving our truck. We ended up finishing 6th after being parked for about an hour and 45 minutes. Lofton did go by us, Alan. We were technically the next truck behind you for a little while there. For about 20 minutes, we sat there and waited, and Lofton came by. Then we sat there for another hour, and nobody came by. I was like, holy hell, what's going on out here? But Tavo, how do you make those decisions? Alan solos it. Luke and Rob split it in half, more or less, and then you guys have 3 segments. How do you make that decision?
I think it's mostly experience. That's how we ran it in 2010, and that's how we ran it in 2012, and it was both years were very successful. That's how we ran it in 2021, and we were just second to Luke and Rob as well. So in off-road, there's stuff that's one-off, like Alan was talking about, but you go back to what works, right? And you keep hitting that well until it runs dry, and that's been our experience at the Baja 1000. To segment it this way, give myself a break, and get back in the truck. It's worked for us in the past. So that's what Jason and I decided that we wanted to do. We looked at the map, we figured out what made sense for pre-running, because you start at pre-running, right? You don't want to be messing up your pre-run by doing this 3-way split, and so we decided what made sense for both of us, and that's the race plan that we put together, and we thought that was the best way to go win. And like I said, it's just about experience and about us doing it a bunch of times before and it working.
Copy. Yeah, that race in 21, that was fun. We raced with you guys there. We had a different strategy that year. We split it in half, and I like the thirds better. Luke, you're probably the most analytical. I mean, I think your cousin is right there with you, Andy. Do you know the percentages of how people have finished based on the split up? Is that something that you dove into?
I mean, I don't have the numbers, no, but every race is different. Every Baja 1000 is different, and everyone's story is different depending on who you have driving with you. But again, I'm fortunate to have Rob, and Rob can qualify the truck great and take care of one. And Rob's situation was a little different because Rob was kind of had double duties for a while there with the Jimco program, and but even our plan changed 2 weeks leading up to the race, which is rare. So I mean, it all changes. The Baja 1000 is different nowadays to me, where all the time now I end up, well, it's been different. Every year is different. In 2021, we had like an hour lead. 22, we had an hour lead. But in 19, 20, and last year, it was like a full-blown sprint in the last 100 miles. And I know I want to be ready for that. So for us, it was, again, it changed because Rob had double duties with the Jimco program, but he qualifies. I have all the trust in the world in Rob, and he brings me a great truck. And then I just try not to bite off more than I can chew, because originally I wanted to get in and do Catavina, but that wasn't even based on strategy. That was just based on me wanting to spend some time down in Catavina, because we all spend so much time in San Felipe. I'm like, I don't really want to go see Borrego again. I want to go, drive the cool roads through the boojum trees and stuff. So our plan changed as the race got closer, and just watching other people. So, I mean, I started catching on to Toby and Paul's plan a little bit as the race got closer. And I started thinking about that. I started thinking about Walser and how much time he was spending in the desert. And then really watched Pavordi and Bryce, and then ran into Pavordi pre-running the first couple times. And I kind of started catching wind of everyone's plan. And I started thinking to myself, I need to be faster in the desert. So, we changed our plan, and we were just, the first half is keep the truck alive and keep it in good condition, which of course Rob does. And then the second half, you have to be ready to race. It's no longer a pace race. It's a full blown sprint race. I mean, last year really showed that too with us chasing Tavo. I feel bad for Tavo, and this year he did the same thing to me, because last year everyone, wow, Luke closed in 15 minutes on Tavo in the last 100 miles. I said, well, yeah, he had everything to lose. I had nothing to lose. Same thing this year. We're out front, and Tavo and Jason McNeil closed in 10 minutes on us. And I told everyone the same thing. I said, look at last year. They have nothing to lose. We have everything to lose. So those strategies it's tough now. Now, we're all in the same truck and 3 or 4 of us are living to the last 100 miles to race, and you have to be ready to do that. So for some people, it's to start and get back in. For me, I'm lucky to have Rob, or I'm like, he can qualify, he can handle qualifying. So I actually ran home, but whether it's go home or pre-run or just not have to be distracted with the first 100 miles, I didn't want to have to mentally think about all the San Felipe stuff and to the finish, knowing I have to race that, but then also stress my mind on, I have to go not learn European. We all know European, but go drive that. So I was like, I try to just hand over a big chunk to Rob and say, I don't have to think about that. My job is to focus on what happens in the last few 100 miles. And of course, Rob's capable of doing anything, but I think Rob likes handing the truck back over to me and go, hey, it's in perfect condition. Now you go take all the chances. You do whatever you want to do to go try to win this race. So that's kind of our strategy.
Luke, is this the first time that you didn't start in your own truck? I forget.
No, Rob has always started my truck. And okay. Roslyn, the first time I didn't start the truck was 2020. And I was hanging out in Ojos when Rosler came by, and I think he had already picked off Picoy. And again, that's the fun part about racing with LR and Rob Mack is like, you're just a fan again. And after I saw that and I got in that race and I went to go race Ampudia to the finish, I said to myself, I'll never, as long as I have a good second driver, I'll never start a Baja 1000 again. So I haven't since then, actually.
Rob, do you like starting better, or would you rather do the same? Like, if you had to pick, which side would you rather do?
Well, with driving with Luke, I'd rather start because, it takes the pressure off. And again, the goal is just to get him a good truck and make sure he gets in it and is able to do battle going to the end if he has to. So if it's my own truck, we did a lot of the same thing Tavo did, is we start and finish. I did a lot of that at the 1,000, 2014, and 2007, when I raced with Mark Post, I started, and then Renazetta drove about 200 miles, and I drove again, and then Mark Post got in. And 14, that was the year I raced with Andy and Jason Voss. And at that race, I started because I qualified. That's another thing that decides a lot of this is, if it's not your truck, I kind of don't want to qualify the truck. And that's what Andy and Jason said with me. And when the rules changed this year for qualifying in the Baja 1000, we were going to have qualifying. I thought to myself, I wonder what Luke's going to do. Is he going to start? Am I going to start? And he ended up saying, you're going to qualify, so you're going to start. And, so that, you asked earlier, Cameron, about nervous, and that I forgot. But my level of butterflies for qualifying was off the charts, honestly, because you really got to go for it. You can't take it easy. And I can tell you, when they threw the green and I started the first right-hander, like I blew it. Then the thing was stuck in third gear. I couldn't get it downshift through turn 2 and 3, the 180s. And then, you got some of you guys see that video. I'm blowing this bad. I somehow have to make up time. So I sent it off the jump. And as we went off, Duncan was like, oh shit, you just had tubes, right? And Alan came over there. He was over there right after we opened up, and he's saying, he kind of added fuel to it because he's saying, hey, my truck bottomed out really hard. What do we got to do? And Duncan tells him tighten it up a little bit, and he just loosened ours up some. So,
and just to clarify for Duncan's sake, that's per Rob, not Duncan. Yeah. Rob likes the soft truck. Duncan would have been closing.
Oh yeah. Every time I'm going to open it, you can feel Duncan, going, oh, like that. So,
I just want to make sure Alan knows we didn't sabotage you, that the two in the right seat.
Yeah. But,
yeah, I think you won. You won the jump contest, Rob. You went the biggest off the jump. So congratulations. Your check's in the mail for winning the jump contest.
Like I was doing bad, and ultimately, I was very happy to qualify second, and nobody's brought it up yet, and I figured you would. But starting the race, and then only 20 something miles, and having Christopher sitting on the side of the road, wow, what a devastating thing to happen. We don't wish that on anyone. I kind of sensed something was up, as we're going. I started to see the two helicopters, and they were like, I'm like, those helicopters seem like they're stopped in the air. And we got about half mile away, and Duncan saw that they were sitting there. And as we got close, he was trying to back up on the track, and what a bummer for them. But then it was, wow, I didn't expect to be first on the road that early, and just kind of, again, just cruising. I look at videos and different people told me, look like you were pre-running, and really just those trucks, and you guys all know, they go so fast, so easy. You don't even have to push them to go. And first on the road the whole way to hand the truck off to Luke. But in the meantime, as I'm getting splits, and you get on those big loops where you could look back, and one time I see Andy early, I see him back there, and then I see Toby, and then I see Andy again, and so on and so forth. But it was really just kind of like driving Miss Daisy, and you guys that were the lead pack getting down through Catavina and all that loop when the sun was going down. I remember just looking at the mountains, and the sun was going behind, and it was lighting up the tops of the mountains on the other side of the valley, and the cactus. And it was like, I don't want to get all mushy and everything, but I said to Duncan, like, have you ever been to Baja? And it's like, this is it. And it was just so beautiful. And that moon, it's just so badass, 1100 horsepower paddle shift, it was incredible, and great race. And I'm very fortunate to be able to, have Luke invite me to race with him, and have such a good fun time battling all you guys. And I think, you guys are each telling your own story, Tavo and Andy, or Alan, you guys were all mixing it up back there, and I was just driving Miss Daisy down the road. So it's good event, very fun, and love driving all-wheel drive trucks, that's for sure. How about you, Cameron? Get ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We'll have an all-wheel drive by the time we get to the Baja 500 for sure. We've been working on some Brenthal stuff, and I think that my craft has some great ideas, so we're looking forward to doing some stuff. For those of you that don't know, Alan Ampudia's Navigator, Kyle Craft, his dad, Mike Craft, Crafty, is my race engineer. So we have a little bit of kinship there along the way. So now I know why he yelled at you, because his dad yells at me sometimes. Just part and parcel to it.
Jason, hold on.
ahead.
I was going to ask Jason real quick. After driving that thing, how hard is it going to be to go back to your truck?
It's going to be very difficult. It's so much fun to drive. Just like Rob said, I mean, it's 1100 horsepower. You got 5 gears. It's heavier than my truck. My truck's a Tisco, which is obviously it's built to be very competitive. So it's got to be on the weight limit of corner to corner. So it's a little bit more like a class 10, where these things are just like, big pre-runners with big motors, and it's a lot of fun. And I was very fortunate to have Tavo invite me, but yeah, I'm blown away what these things can do. I got a text from Neil Mason after the race, and he congratulated me with the good job that I did or whatever. And I'm like, one hell of a truck. He's like, wait till you see the Gen 2. I'm like, I don't know how you can make this damn thing any better. Like, what the hell are you going to do? The Gen 2, this thing's like, it's an amazing machine. They've done a really good job, those guys over there.
Absolutely. Huge kudos to Robert and Neil Mason. They've really created something where they're dominating the class. They have the greatest drivers, the greatest equipment, and a great attitude, I might add as well. They are really gems of humans. I enjoy bantering with them, and I think their equipment is amazing. I got to drive it in 2019 with the Team C guys, so I've had a little taste of it myself, a little taste of the crack, if you don't mind me saying. So we're going to start wrapping up here pretty soon, but I did want to say that Tavo, you missed it. I was talking to Alan a little bit about the Mexican Nationals battling for the championship and score. You guys have both won the Baja 1000. I think it's very cool what you guys are doing with the leadership role there. Tavo, it's got to be a little bit fun to battle Alan specifically just because of that, for that championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I found out that also Torres Ruben, I guess, was finished third. But yeah, I mean, obviously,
cool, awesome.
Yeah, I saw a post somewhere that it was 1, 2, 3 for Mexico in terms of the championship, and like I've said before the race, now that like the championship has some weight behind it, I think 10 years ago it was different, but right now it means a lot, right? And I've been telling people losing it by 1 point. Really, I'm not disappointed. I'm not mad. It was a battle all year long, and 1 point is. I mean, it could have gone either way, right? So, I'm just happy that we set a plan together at the beginning of the year. Obviously, we're all shooting for Luke and that consistency that he's had over the last 4 or 5 years. And I just said, you know what? I just want to be on the podium every single race. That's my objective for 24. That's been my objective since the Baja 1000 last year, and we're 4 for 5. So I think if we keep that consistency up and for 25 and kind of continue to grow with the truck, and even with so many miles beneath our belts on this conference call, I think every single one of us keeps learning how to do different things on the trucks and making them better and growing in confidence. Really, I was surprised that the thing lived for 890 miles at the pace we were pushing. Because I remember Luke and Bryce always tell me, "Oh, we drive like 80%, and the two-wheel drive, you guys are going 95%." I don't think they're driving 80% anymore. I'll tell you that. And it's just fun, to be able to push them and to have it get to the finish line. And like Alan said, hey, we could go another 800 miles in this thing. It's perfect. It really was. So looking forward to 25 and continue to stack the podiums and hopefully beat Alan by 1 point next year as well.
I like that. I like the rivalry for sure. Tavo, I did want to mention too that you guys have come with some really spectacular designs lately. The design of your truck was shockingly different. The colorway, the aspects of it, the heritage, it's really spectacular. Very well done. Is that something that you guys really are putting a ton of thought into? Obviously, coming with something so different like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't happen by chance. It actually started in 2022 when Alan and I raced together, and we wanted to do something like Mexican heritage, something that really represented our culture. And I kind of give Nick. I'm not an artistic person, right? So I kind of give Nick Battaglia at Loose Cannons a lot of flexibility in terms of what we can do, as long as sort of the idea is that we need to represent the culture, we need to represent Mexico, we need to represent, what Alan and I and Ruben, the other 3 trophy truck guys are, we stand for. So, that was the premise in 2022. I thought it came out amazing. It was beautiful. 23, I raced with Bryce, so I didn't have the opportunity to do it. But 24, we went down that road again, and I loved sort of the theme that he did. Obviously, I think 95% of us of Mexicans are Catholic, so that was something that we wanted to kind of highlight, and we're going to do it again for 25. We're going to do something different, and I think Nick spends like 250 hours painting the truck and designing it and everything, so he puts a lot of work and effort into it. A little bit of collaboration on my part, but again, I'm more right brain than left brain, so dominant. So he does a lot of the creative stuff.
Well, it was amazing. I think the detail, it almost looks like individual mosaic tiles.
Yes.
Different colorways of the blue everywhere. It was really shocking. I just wanted to say that really brilliant scheme, and hats off to you guys on that. And also, while we're talking about it, congratulations to your dad and RJ for a brilliant race. They're not here on the show, but great to see your dad slaying it still. How old is Gus?
He turned 71. He's turning 72 in 25. So, and he's still loving it. 12 races in a row in the Legends class, 3rd overall for this race. I mean, they did an amazing job. And as long as my dad's happy and keeps racing, then I'm happy because I get to keep racing too. So it's a win-win all around.
Yeah, for sure. We're stoked to have you out there full time, Tavo. I know a couple years ago you were focusing on business, and we really all missed you. But this is a great podium for the Baja 1000 for a number of reasons: legacy and fun and personality and talent. You guys all did a great job. Congratulations to you guys, my competitor, but also my peers, and I have a ton of respect for you guys. It was really great to see. I was out of the truck in the middle, and I got to watch what was happening during the race and see the live feed and all that stuff when I wasn't watching the Tyson fight. And it was amazing to watch you guys going for it. And, we were trying to sneak up there in the back. We got up there like thinking, okay, we're going to get up to 3rd. Let's try to, Ampudia's have problems, but then we crapped the bed and parked it. But it's just such an honor to be able to be on the racetrack with you guys. It's awesome to see what you guys are bringing. And the class has really elevated as of late. Thank you guys for the great competition.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely. It makes it fun to watch too for everyone at home. It's so close now between all you guys. Like all the races are the spec trucks are close. You guys are close. You guys are basically in spec trucks now. You guys all have the same truck. So you're basically in a spec truck, right? Just a different engine and shock manufacturer maybe. So that's besides Cameron over there. But actually I was gonna ask you guys, do you guys mind if we just let Cameron start first at the next race? Because we don't do qualifying and just let Cameron go first. And then if he doesn't win, we don't get to hear him anymore complain about qualifying. Is that okay
Yeah.
with you guys?
As long as the next race is San Felipe. Hell yeah.
It is. It is.
I don't want anybody to let me do anything. I would like to qualify in something that doesn't have 180-degree turns every 55 feet. So that's about I'm done bitching about qualifying because you guys all call me whatever you call me because of it. So I give up. Whatever. We'll start 15th and we're still gonna try to beat your asses. Or maybe we'll start 16th. 16th. Sorry, we'll start 16th.
There
But
you go.
guys, a great episode of Fishgistics. Real quick, as we close out, I wanted to ask each of you what your plans are for next year. If you can give me a 20-second shot of what we're looking at. I'm assuming a bunch of us are going to the whole score series, or some of us racing the Unlimited series. King of the Hammers is on the list. Of course, Best in the Desert and Legacy offering some great races. I know there's a new 3-day race with Best in the Desert that I was looking at. Just wondering what's everybody doing next year. And I'll start with the champion, Alan.
Copy paste from this past year. Doing the King of the Hammers and the UTV race, co-driving for my brother Aaron, which is a lot of fun. Definitely a different experience being in the right seat in the UTV, but it's super fun. So doing that and the whole score series for 2025 for us.
And Mac?
Hope to be doing the same stuff, racing score. I mean, it's definitely where all the heavy hitters are and where you got to be to be on top of the competition for sure.
And Jason, what's your plan?
I got the house for sale, specs for sale. Gonna just do my no. We're gonna do the spec and score and maybe some stuff with my son. So just looking forward to getting back after it.
Right on. And Tavo?
2025 will be we're going to go after the Trophy Truck Championship again, the 4 score races, and I wish I could do more. I want to do more, but we just we can't. Too much stuff going on. I wish I could, but it is what it is.
Yep, absolutely. Luke, what's the McMillan team looking at? Both trucks going all the same places?
I can't speak for both trucks, but no, we're making some changes this year. I'm going to take my brother's truck. I'll be driving the 23 truck at King of the Hammers this year, and that's going to be a truck very similar to what we've been racing. We are testing a lot of stuff on the truck at King of the Hammers, so a lot of test parts. We're going to go race King of the Hammers, but as always, our focus is on Baja. So my truck is going under the knife heavily right now, and we're making some big changes because everyone's up their game. We got to up ours, so we're making some big changes we've been working on for quite some time, and then I'll bring my truck to the 250 and run the rest of the Baja series. I'm not sure what's in it for my brother and Andy right now. They're kind of TBD on what they'll be racing. I think my brother is considering racing a little less next year. He has a new baby daughter, and he's just loving the family life, and so he may be racing a little less next year, but nothing's official. But we'll be ready to compete at the Baja races for sure.
Right on. We're looking forward to it. I will see you at King of the Hammers. That is our plan currently, to be out there, as well as a score series. We're going to try to pick up a couple extras along the way. We're taking a look at that Best in the Desert, the 3-day race. Sounds like some fun too. Something that we're looking at. Just depends on motor schedule, funding, and what the sponsors want to do, right? Everybody's got their own thing they got to take care of. And I can tell you this for sure. It looks like, well, not for sure, but 90% looks like we'll be at the Spec Truck at Rage of the River next weekend with Mitchell Alsup. So that's pretty exciting. That's going to be fun. It's always nice to go to a race where you can kind of relax a little bit and don't have the world pressure from the score series or whatever we're doing. But thank you guys all for the time. You guys are all legends in our sport. We appreciate you guys. And, God bless. Have a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you for being a part of the Fishgistics family as well. Fish, you got anything else for this panel of hitters?
Yeah, I mean, thanks once again for all of you guys for coming on here. Great job at the 1,000. It's always rad when we get the podium to all come on here. So it's pretty cool. It's cool to hear the stories too that you don't get to hear during the race or after the race. So I think people appreciate you guys always coming on here and hearing the stories. So thank you for all of you guys joining. And it would be cool, like you said, Cameron, Rage of the River. I just thought about it. The Laughlin race used to be the funnest race back in the day for us to watch. It would be rad if all of you guys could get together one year and be like, hey, let's all go race Rage of the River after the 1,000. Like, if your trucks are still good, just go out there and do that race. Like, you get your own class, the trophy trucks, get them to run by themselves. Like, that would be epic. Like, some of the trucks would probably come home with damage. It might not be epic for your checkbooks, but spectating, it would be pretty fucking cool. I'm just saying, like, you guys should do that.
Yeah. I think it'd just be cool to have us all show up at some different races together, do the score series, and then everybody show up somewhere else. I like Rage, but I think the Hammers race is fun too. I'd like to see more of us there at Hammers.
Yeah, definitely be good. But yeah, thanks once again for everybody coming on the show. It was a great job, and we'll see you guys all next season.
All right, everybody.
Having us.
Merry Christmas.
You,
God bless everybody.
Congrats to Luke again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bob, Luke.